Listen only mode.
Welcome to another GoldMine 101, our regular series of short presentations, training sessions during this lockdown period, giving you hints and tips for getting a little bit more out of GoldMine CRM. And this morning, I'm going to cover the groups feature, creating contact groups. Some of you I know would have been on the filtering, filters feature training session we had a week or two ago. So this is a little bit of a follow-on from that filter training session. Hello, my name is Tim Wilmot, and my company, Wizard Systems, we're a specialist CRM systems supplier who helps small and mid-sized companies, organizations improve how they go about their sales, their marketing, and their customer service through solutions like GoldMine. Now, this presentation will be about 10 minutes or so in duration, just really an overview of the groups feature. There's a lot, well, there can be a lot to it, shall I say, and we'd be happy to, if you want to get more into how you're creating lists of records in GoldMine for whatever purpose, my company, Wizard Systems, offer many extensive training options. The audio part of this presentation is one way only. If you've got any questions, pop those into the questions section on your meeting control panel. I'll do my best to answer those at the end. Also at the end, I'll give you an update on any GoldMine news that I've got for you, just to keep you up to date in the loop. And also after the presentation, you will get an email from our system with a link to the recording that you can play back, and it will be on our YouTube channel as well. Okay, so let's get started. As I normally do, quick mention about Wizard Systems, top supplier of GoldMine and CRM systems. We've been doing this a long time, and we offer a complete service around the GoldMine product, upgrades, implementation, training, and any kind of support service that you may require to get the most out of your GoldMine investment. Okay, groups in GoldMine. So similar to filters, but subtly different. Filters are what we would call dynamic. In other words, when you add in a new record that will meet a filter condition, GoldMine will find it. So they're dynamic. If you remove a contact record, it will no longer be in the filter. Whereas groups are static. You are defining like a fixed list of who these people are in this list called a group. Why would you use a group as opposed to a filter? You will see this in many places in GoldMine, filters and groups. Most of the time, 9 times out of 10, you'll most likely use a filter for doing what you want to do to create that list. But groups are important where, well, first of all, where you do need to maintain, for whatever reason, a permanent list of who these people are. You, for whatever reason, maybe it's some sort of invite list. You're manually creating this list, and you're inviting your users to add people to that list. You want some kind of a manual way and a permanent way of defining who these people are. And incidentally, they will be displayed on one way of seeing what groups a contact is a member of or belongs to will be on the members tab of the contact record. So this contact record here is stored in 4 lists, in 4 groups. So why use groups? You want that permanent list. Secondly, you're able to create that list on areas of GoldMine that a filter can't see or can't access. So for example, some of the bottom tabs in history, on pending, on some of the other additional contacts tabs, links tabs, and so on. It will allow you to create a list based on information that filters you can't achieve with filters. Third reason, they can work faster because, going back to my point number one, because GoldMine knows who these people are. When you're going through the application through this list, if it's a group, GoldMine knows exactly where these people are. It is lightning fast in going from record 1 to record 2. Whereas with a filter, as you're going down through the database, it's having to think, is this record in the filter, yes or no? And it's it happens in nanoseconds, but it could be a little bit slower with a filter running from record to record. With a group, it's instant, okay? Fourth reason, some other applications that GoldMine is linked to, primarily email marketing systems, will require you to use groups to pass that data from GoldMine into the other application. They very rarely will they work with a filter. You'll need to create a group. So if you want to link it to MailChimp, Constant Contact, IntelliClick, GatorMail, they will use groups, okay? So how do you create a group? Well, there's a few ways of getting at groups. You could do it, we covered on our filter session, the contact search center, and you get that little gripper bar and you can see your filters there and groups there. But you could save your search as a group, as a permanent list, or should I say, a semi-permanent list. These groups can be deleted once you've created them. People can be removed from the group, from that members tab, for example. So that's one way of doing it there. Or you could go to the tools menu and groups there, which would take you to groups, the groups window, similar to filters. There's your groups. And this allows you to then create those groups. So this screen is split into two halves. Top half of the screen is showing me the names of all the groups. If I highlight that group in the lower window, I see the members of the group, which contacts in my contact database are in that group. To create a new group, very simply, we click on that new group button and we give the group a name. Let's call it K's Calls. Reason I'm calling it K's Calls will become evident any second now, but I could give this a code. I could allocate it to a user. So these groups are stored against a username. And I'm going to be building the group straight away. All right, so I'm going to be using and initiating what's called the group building wizard. So just a sequence of just a few screens here, very simple screens, that's guiding me down through the selection of these people and adding them to the group. Now I could use, going back to filters, I could use a filter to create the group from. All right, there are quite a few other ways of creating these groups though. 3 other key ways of creating the group are from scheduled activities, pending activities in my GoldMine system, or completed activities in my GoldMine system. If I want to create a record, if I want to create a group of all the people that we've had a sale with, or all the people that we've had a meeting with in the last year, that could be an example of a group. Supplemental contact data are some of those tabs against the contact record, the details tab, the additional contacts tab, for example. In this session, I'm just going to create a group based on a scheduled activity. The principle of creating a group is the same with any of these. So I've selected the type of data I'm looking at. So this is calendar activities. These are outstanding actions or activities in my GoldMine system. Click Next. Right, next question. Which user? Is it all users, a group of users, or a particular user? And then what range of dates do you want to look at these activities? So you could be selecting a certain date or range from this calendar here, or you can manually type in a date range also. What type of activity? Obviously, with GoldMine, we have different types of things, different types of interactions you have with your customers, callbacks, emails, actions, sales, and so on. Furthermore, we could then pin it down to a 3-letter code. Every activity can have an optional 3-letter code, which is defining what type of phone call it is, for example, or what type of meeting or appointment it might be. So I've got user, I've got type of activity, I've got date range there, click next. I could then sort that group in a certain sequence. If I want it to work in alphabetical order, a ascending or descending sequence on a particular field, I could define that there. And down the bottom, a further refinement, I could apply an additional filter expression on top of this. So yes, K's calls, but I just want to look at people in a certain market sector, or I just want to look at customers that K had a phone call planned with. So I could apply a filter there. Click next, click finish. That's done. It's found 210 members. There they all are there. Easy way of creating that group. And they are like filters. You activate them to use them. They will appear in many other actions in GoldMine as well. Reports, for example, exporting data, dashboards. It will appear in many places. So there we are, quick rundown through groups and the key differences of why is a group different to a filter? Why would you create a group rather than a filter? Hopefully that's given you some a bit more information there on the benefits of using a group over a filter. As we do now, those of you listening live will be familiar with the format. If you've got any questions, please type those into the question box on your meeting control panel. Do my best to answer those questions for you. And question from Chrissy, can you give access to a group to other users? Yes, you can. By default, that will happen whenever you go into see your group. So there should be an option to change the username. It will default to you, of course, whatever your GoldMine username is, but you just select the name, and you'll have a drop-down list then of all the other users. Lars, question from Lars, when you delete a record, does it delete the entry to the group? Yes, it will. So rest assured that will keep that up to date for you. Okay, don't think any more questions are coming through there. Thanks very much for those. So all training at the moment is online during this lockdown period until such point as we can safely relax that and invite people back into our training centre. We've got quite a big, large GoldMine training room actually where we can observe social distancing, but until such time as the government, UK government, allow us to start operating back to some form of normality. All training is currently online, which we've been doing at Wizard Systems for a long time. To be honest with you, well over a decade or two, remote training. So it's a thing that we're used to. So whatever location, whatever topic in GoldMine, you contact us, we'll be happy to help you out. Latest release of GoldMine is 2019.1. 2020 is due out shortly. Fingers crossed this month sometime. We'll be running a little presentation on that, and there will be some email security additions added to that. We are doing some promotions in April and May. Please look at our blog for more details of that. And if you've got any suggestions for future topics, please email us, tim@wizard-systems.com. So thanks very much for your time this morning. A little bit later than normal. Normally we do this at 10 o'clock. We will be doing one next Wednesday. Hopefully it will be 10 o'clock in the morning. And we'll be notifying that on our Twitter feed and our GoldMine blog and by an email if you're on our email list. But there's our other contact details there. If it's YouTube, just do a search for Wizard Systems. You'll find us there, our channel and a GoldMine playlist. Thanks very much for your time. Look forward to hearing from any more late questions come through. I'll answer those separately via email. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.